Are we live?
It says
Well,
the stream is live.
I'm gonna look on YouTube.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you in a second.
Mine says live.
Okay. Thank you guys so much. Hello, everyone. Welcome to One Global Movement Friday. I highly appreciate you guys for being here again.
Oh,
Oh.
got some feedback.
I highly appreciate you guys for being here again today. Your support, your love, your presence is highly appreciated, especially by the young people of the world, the children whom we are serving. I so much appreciate you guys. You don't know how you touch my heart every day by being here, because this is something that I am so passionate about, so that we will do whatever it takes to make sure that no child ever has to be where I was. And a lot of us here and some people, I am just a representation, a symbol of all the stories that happen to children worldwide. Some are better than mine, some are worse than mine, but they are all important that we pay attention to. Everybody that has children, that loves children, that wants to contribute to humanity, this is the place to be. We ought to come together to do this for our children, just like Mr. Ash Mufara says. I welcome you all here, and thanks to Unpassive and Mr. Ash Mufara. And I would like to tell you guys, it's a surprise. I just posted a short video about it. The lady who is supposed to be here, she's a specialist, a nurse, and an international child protection officer. And she protects, especially the young woman, provide homes and retreat them from sex trafficking. But she had a surgery, so she fell. Just about an hour ago, they had to rush her to the hospital. But I thank God that we have this topic that we never ever had the opportunity to fully treat it. This is a surprise. This is so important. It requires all of our attention, our opinion. Everything counts, because this has been there for centuries. It's not going away. It's hurting our children, particularly the young woman. So today's topic is sex education. Sex education. We talked about this a little bit during the 30-minute podcast, Speak with Heart, but we did not complete it. So please, please, please write your questions. Your opinion counts, because this is a controversial topic. This is a serious topic. This is something that the school system, the governments, and parents, and everybody is not paying attention to it, but it's hurting our young ones. So sex education is the topic for today. You know, I always like to begin with some funny quotes that I always write. So young people have the right to the information and skills they need to protect their health and well-being, including young people in state custody. Everybody, including those ones in the state custody, they have the right to sex education, no matter what. Then the second quote is, all people deserve accurate sexual health care with a focus on the marginalized and the young woman. Those that have been marginalized in one way or the other, whether customs and traditions, they deserve that. And then giving a condom. We should pay attention to this, parents. Giving a condom to a teen is just like saying, well, if you insist on killing yourself by jumping off the bridge, at least wear these elbow pads. Hear me well. Sex education is not only about having sex. It is also about looking at the teen's health and reproductive system and protecting the body from infectious diseases. It is not just about having sex. We need to teach this to our children. So those are the quotes. Then I'm going to throw this question out, and everybody has the right to jump in, upset somebody, disrupt somebody, but let us keep it to a bare minimum of 2 minutes if somebody wants to talk. So what then is sex education? Sex education is a crucial aspect of a child's overall education, growth, and development. It involves a wide range of topics related relating to human sexuality, relationships, and reproductive health. In trying to unravel or to really talk on this, we talk about the importance of sex education to our children. There are 4 very important questions that I like to ask to ourselves, to everyone listening to this. The parents, the adults around these children, the school system, the government, everyone around these teens, and the global school system is so important that we ask these questions, because for time immemorial, for centuries, 500 years, this is hurting our children, and it kind of curbs the way they grow, their behaviors and everything. So we need to place so much emphasis on this. We all are involved. It is a responsibility. It is a mandate for all of us, everyone, the unperseverant, everyone needs to get involved, because we were children too at one point. It is still affecting some of us right now. So the first question you should be writing down, or you put in your subconscious mind, so that we have to answer these questions as we go along. The first question is, why is sex education so vital? Why is it so important for our children? The second question is, in your opinion, should sex education be an important part of the school curriculum? Should we include it as a policy, as a subject on its own in the school curriculum? Number 3, if sex education should be an important part of the school curriculum, at what age should parents, teachers, and of course the government start teaching children about sex education? And then the last question is, should all of us petition the governments around the world to put into policy stricter measures on the importance of sex education across the board? So these are 4 important questions. Whatever we discuss here today, it surrounds these 4 important questions. I say it with a lot of passion, with a lot of power, because our teens, our children are suffering in silence. And because of this, we're not teaching them. It gives them mental health. It causes a lot of obstruction, and we don't understand because we ourselves were not taught. And so we do the same thing. But now that we know, now that we are learning, now that we want to know why our children are behaving the way they do, it is our responsibility to answer these 4 questions. If we don't, we must have failed our children. We must have failed children of the world. We must have failed our responsibility to say we are uplifting humanity. Humanity starts with uplifting the children. So that is so important. So now that we have these questions stored in our subconscious minds and at least written on a piece of paper, let us dive into the discussion of the importance of sex education. The question to the audience and everyone is, pay attention. What is the importance of sex education to our young stars, to our children, to our teenagers? So now, everybody put on your hat and bring the questions and your answers here. The first thing is, why is it important? Knowledge and understanding is so important. Knowledge and understanding of sex education is so important to our children. Sex education provides children with accurate information about their bodies, to know about their bodies, their physiology, the biological makeup of their bodies. It gives them that knowledge to understand. Understanding their reproductive system is not a toy that they can just play around with anyhow. They need to understand it and how it works and why they even have it, why they were created in the first place and given them those reproductive organs in the first place. And the sexual health, before you get engaged, is it going to be healthy for you? Is it the right time for you to use your sexual organs to do whatever you think that you want to do? What are you deriving from it? Why are we using it in the first place? So it helps them to understand their physical and their emotional and biological changes they will experience during puberty and adolescence. instance, especially a young woman with menstruation, their period, but it involves both the young man and the young woman. It's so important for them. Number 2 is prevention of unintended, unplanned pregnancies. Very important. We see a lot of our young people, because of the sexual satisfaction and desire of young men who don't understand, even adult men who don't understand. They want to satisfy something. Even the young girls, they want to satisfy something. They give into the sexual request of the opposite sex. And what happens? They get in trouble. Unplanned pregnancies, some of them in certain families, your parents take you out of school because you're pregnant, and you lose your education. Now you go back to the same place. You bring this child into the world, these children into the world who don't understand anything because you did not understand, and they are back to the same spot. They increase poverty, they increase illiteracy, everything stands against them. Their health becomes so poor. I see this in certain countries, and because that I've studied those countries, like in Sudan. In Sudan, you find these very young kids that are forced into marriages, very young. And now to their great parents, they are sleeping with these young children, having children by them. And now, in time, those children start having children. What happens? Their health is hampered. They develop what is called obstetric fistula. Obstetric fistula is a kind of cancer that young girls that are not fully developed, their reproductive organs have not been fully developed. They contact it, now they start having children before they even turn 18. 18 to me is even still too young. You can go a little bit 2 years above 18 before you start having those children. But if you have children below the age of 18, most of the time, without proper health care, these young women contact what is called obstetric fistulas. It's a type of cancer. It comes with shame. Now they have it. They start smelling when they go everywhere. They smell so bad because of the liquid that comes out of their bodies, the odor. It happens. My mother had me at 17. She contacted obstetric fistula. Why is she still alive? Because she's so fortunate to be in this country of opportunity where she is receiving treatment. This is so important. A lot of women, young women, are suffering. Please go ahead and say something, because I'm not the only one. Okay, Dr. Benny.
Yes, Doctor, first of all, I want to greet each and everyone. And I noticed that this topic is very important. It is important for our children. Now, you made a statement, because this one happens in, should I say, to one of my cousin in Africa. You made a statement that when a younger child or a girl has sex, get pregnant, and then something happens that the child or the girl may not go back to school. You are on point. It happens to one of my relatives. She was the smartest girl, and in her family, she got pregnant. She went to Form 1, got pregnant. That was the end of her life. Do you know that she is suffering today? Daddy is gone. The man that she got married to, she is suffering. No education, nothing for her. So I urge each and everyone, especially our younger girls, please, your husband is your education. I need you to focus on your education. Despite the fact that, yes, it is important for sex education to be introduced into the school system. Yes, it is. Because we need the real instructors, those who have experience, to teach our younger kids. Thank you for now. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Any other opinion here? It counts. Everything counts. Everybody needs to contribute, because no one shoe fits all. The different areas, the way we raise our children, their orientation, the way we were raised, it counts a lot towards the way these children are behaving. And then we tend to blame them. I sent you to school. I didn't ask you to go and sleep with a man. No, we did not teach them. I am guilty. That's why I started teaching my son at a very young age. And my mother is like, oh no, he's talking about sex. Oh, yes, he has to talk about sex, because we need to teach them, but teach them in a very humble way, teach them in the right way, that they have to use those words and those terms in the appropriate manner. This is so important, very, very important. And then another point is there anybody who wants to say
I
something?
mean,
Okay.
the trouble is, sex education has become taboo in some countries. So they think that the parents are the best people to teach, not the schools. That's where the problem is.
Thank you so much, Sab. That is so important. And I come from the community where I just said, sex, you don't talk about it. You don't. They'll consider you as a bad child. You're saying something, you know? And so it's a taboo in certain, and why is it a taboo? We all know that the laws of the world, and I say it so loud, the laws of the world, customs and traditions, no matter where in the world, United States, wherever, even in developing countries, the laws and regulations are written by the men against the woman and the child. If it's not the way the men want, it is not done. And so it's not all the men. There are good men out there. I'm saying that, but most often it is. That is why you see women are still fighting for women's rights. Those rights that we were born and given, inalienable rights, are there. Why do we have to fight for them? We're fighting for the female child. Sex trafficking is the highest in our beautiful country, United States of America, that is supposed to be the role model. But sex trafficking is the highest. And guess who are involved in this sex trafficking? Top people that we look up to as role models. It is affecting our young girls. I am a girl. Thank God that it didn't happen. My own abuse didn't happen that way, but it happened in a different way. But still, it is part of sex education. Sending a child into marriage at 11 years old is abuse. That is, sex education is required in this aspect, because Dr. Benny, like you said, your husband, your boyfriend should be your education first. Because when you understand sex education, now you're getting into a good relationship with a good man, and you're being happy with that relationship, and you're being healthy. We do not want to see you unhealthy. Is there any other person who wants to say something? Otherwise, I'll move to the next point.
I'll just say, I got something I'll say.
Okay.
This is something that even before we started talking about educating the young people, young children, we have to think about educating the adults, because just what we're talking about at this point that you're making it right now, a lot of adults don't have the first clue about how important it is to be the ones that may or may not teach their children about the proper way to think about sex. And I think that's a big problem, that a lot of children, they don't learn about sex from their parents. I'm not saying the parents is the only place. I do believe it should be somewhere. It should be something that's taught in our educational system. But if the parents are those that are with the children from the very beginning, obviously they should be very important in what time, when do they start to teach their children about sex, and are they capable of teaching their children about sex. Now, myself, I come from a generation where a lot of young folks like myself, I learned a lot about sex, not from my parents. I did learn from my parents, but I'm saying the first places I began to hear about sex was from other kids, other people that I hung out with as a little kid in the streets, who would have knowledge that maybe was not so helpful, but they went ahead and started telling us about what they thought they should tell us about sex. So I just say that one thing we really have to think about is that adults get the proper attitude and knowledge themselves about this subject, and how it relates to children, and whether or not we should be teaching them, and how early should we be teaching them about sex. So I just wanted to bring that up, that we're worried about teaching the kids. Well, I think a lot of us need to be taught about sexual education. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you so much, John. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is a great
Let
point.
me let me also chip
Let me
in.
say something, then as I'll give room to you. Because we can only give people what we know. If we don't know whatever we give somebody, or we are cussing somebody, or we are teaching somebody, that's what we know. And what if that is the wrong way? What if we don't even know? We are just thinking our own way because we did not learn it. And that is so important that we educate ourselves. And that's why we are here. It starts with us before it goes to the children. Thank you. Esther, you can go ahead. Thank you so much, John.
Yeah, it's fine. This is a very beautiful contribution everyone is making about this sex education. In addition to all that has been said, please, I will plead the indulgence of every man, youth, young men, the old ones, the middle ones, please. There are some things that happen in homes which is really, really disheartening. That parents, working class parents, will leave their children with the so-called uncles or whatever they call themselves, maybe to take care of their kids, with every knowledge that the child is in a safe hand. But you will not believe from the things we have watched on televisions and real life situations that these so-called uncles will start messing these kids up from their tender age. So as that child goes up with that knowledge and keeps growing, they will take that to be a way of life. And before you know it, they will want on their own to start practicing such acts. In the process of practicing, they might get pregnant on the way, and that child's life is ruined. And you parents too, you should also know who you keep your children with. Everybody, yes, we know that you're going out there to make money to look after your children. What if after making that money, those children you're making the money for turns out to be waywards, turns out to be nobody, and you will forever regret it? So please, no matter what, if you're a grown-up, you're of the age to have a friend, you go out there and get a friend of your age and not messing the little things that are kept for you to take care of. A lot of things has happened in this line. So I think it is good we bring it out to the open. If you are one of those that indulge in such silly acts, please, can you use this opportunity? Maybe you do not know that what you're doing is wrong. Stop it. And parents, be careful also who you leave your children with.
Thank you
We
so much.
all, during our time, grew up with innocent hearts. We do not know what is left from the right. You will not believe the first time how I knew how a woman brings a child to this world. I was almost 14, 15. And a friend from the other neighbor, I were talking, and she started talking about it. That day, I started crying. That was how I knew. But we are in a world now where every child is supposed to know. Women, start teaching your children sex education. Start telling them the signs they can see from a man, and they distance themselves from that person. That's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Esther. Thank you. That is so important because I can even recall in our community, and it's not just about the men. The world is turned upside down right now. Even the female child is abusing another female child. It's craziness going around the world. But even some parents, fathers are sleeping with their own daughters. We need
Oh
to
my.
really watch, especially incest. Incest is something that we deal with every day. We need to really watch. When we bring a child into this world, it is our responsibility to watch that child. There was a time where, when I had my son, and my mom had to travel to Cameroon, and I thought about taking my son to a babysitter. My heart said, no, no, no. I did for 2 days. This child cried and cried and cried, and 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 I'm like, but what am I working this money for? Like Esther said, you have the money, but your child is doomed for life. What are you going to do with that money? Nothing. So I had to quit my job for 1 year until my mom came back from home. So when we bring these children, we need to invest in them 24/7 all around, because when you put your heart and soul into raising your child, guess what? God will put a hand there and that child will turn out to be good. So thank you so much for that important point, Esther. Was there somebody trying to say something?
Sorry, lastly, Yvonne, one important comment. For the parents, please, that get meds to stay with their children. Please, when you get these meds, can you take them to hospitals? Let them check their actual sex. Some of these people, they are young men that turn who they are, and you would think that you're leaving your children with a woman or a girl or a lady, but invariably that person turns out to be a man, but is under the disguise of a woman. Can we also be careful? Try and be sure that whoever you're leaving your children with is just what they say they are. Thank you.
Oh, that is so important. Thank you so much, Esther. Woo! That's why I said the world is upside down. So if nobody has anything, I will go to the third point, why sex education is very important for all of us now. Because when we are teaching the children, we are also teaching ourselves. A lot of us did not know. Nobody taught me sex education. I had to grow up to find out myself. So sex education is important to maintain a healthy relationship. Sex education often includes discussions about healthy relationships, consent, boundaries, and communication skills. These are lessons that are very essential for our children. They need to say no, and they respect that no. And when they say yes, they respect that yes. Sex acts need to be mutual. And in order for it to be mutual, the education is very important. Because sometimes the way we are created, our bodies are different. The man's body is different from the woman's body. And sometimes you can say no because you're not feeling well, or maybe because you have your period. When we have those periods, there are a lot of aches and pains sometimes. So we need to learn to teach them to say no, and you mean no, and that no is respected. Very important. And empowerment. Sex education is very important. By educating children about their bodies, their rights, sex education empowers them to make informed decisions about their sexual health and relationships. Very important. They will know how to even dating. They will know how to pick what is valuable for them in a girl and in a boy that they want to marry or want to develop a relationship with. So it is that important. Very, very important. So, and to really say no is necessary to be listened to, because sometimes when even the boy says no, we've come into a situation where a school teacher is raping a young boy all the time. We've learned about it, we've heard about it in the news. It's not just the man or the boy doing that to a girl. It is both ways. If we teach our children this, it's going to be very important. Reducing stigma and shame. Open and honest discussion about sex can reduce the stigma and shame often associated with topics related to sexuality, because there is a stigma. If you talked about sex, they'll look at you as the bad child. You dare not open your mouth because my parents did not know better, because their parents did not know better. It's like a taboo, like a SABS says, it's a taboo. You dare not talk about it. You talk about it, you're a bad child. So sex education will reduce the stigma that comes about when children want to talk about these things. And we ourselves, we need to, because all of us here, we come from the old school. We come from the old school. We were not taught. And we think, oh, who? You can't talk about it. But now we have to be open up. Otherwise, we're not raising our children with love and dignity and respect. And they in turn will carry the same ignorance into their own future families. So we need to really talk about these things. Safety and protection. Teaching children about sex education, they will know the risk involved, They will know how to protect themselves. They will know when to say, yes, am I ready to have this child into this world? Am I able to take care of these children? Have I educated myself enough to take care of these children? So that is so important. Safety and production. Sexually transmitted diseases. We hear it all the time. AIDS, urinary tract infection, all of those things are sexually transmitted diseases that with sex education, we can be able to prevent it too, not just the children. Some of us adults are still fooling around because we did not have the right knowledge about sex education, and we think, oh, let's just do it, and you throw your chances to nature. No, nature is God. God says you must have that wisdom. You don't have it, don't come to me for help, because that help is not going to come. You got to first of all educate yourself. We are guilty as adults and parents. We need to do that. And then respect for diversity. Respect for diversity is so important. Sex education, sorry, I can't talk well today. Sex education can promote tolerance and respect for diversity by discussing different sexual orientations. How were you orientated about sex? We have to discuss it. What we are saying here today. Remember the taboos. Remember, you can't talk about it. Oh, it's a secret. Don't talk about it. Only the adults can talk about it. It's something that you just do. You just do it. Don't talk about it. So the orientation and the taboos, gender identities, like Esther says, who are you bringing into your home? Is that person the person that say they are to take care of your own children and be doing your dishes and be doing things for you? We need to make sure, take them to the hospital for their gender to be checked, because a lot of these pedophiles, a lot of this abuse, people, whether they are men or women, a woman will turn into a man turns into a woman and say, but that thing is still there. That sexual organ is still there, and they're going to cause damage to your children, and sometimes even the women in that home. And the men too in that home. So we need to check to make sure sexual orientation, gender identity, cultural perspective. What is your cultural perspective when it comes to sex education? It fosters a more inclusive and accepting society. When we teach our children about sex education, it fosters a more inclusive and accepting society of ourselves first and our children. Remember, what goes around comes around. What we were taught, if we do not put the right teachings into perspective, that is exactly what is going to go to our children. And what goes around is just still going to come around. That is what it also means. And then parent-child communication. It is that important. Remember, some of our parents, my mom, she's upstairs listening too. She said, Golden is talking about sex. Oh, tell that child not to. I said, no, Mama. I taught him, and they are teaching them. Some schools are teaching them very young. We need to. It is part of life. It is part of life. God created it, and we need to talk about it. We need to normalize it by communicating, talking about this like it's a normal thing, not a shameful thing, not a taboo something, not something that our parents say, oh, you can't talk about it. No, we can talk about it so that our children will not have to go through what some of us have gone through. We need to talk about it. Sex education can facilitate better communication between parents and their children. We can take that as a way of bonding with our children, because we are talking about something that we want them not to go through it the way we went through it. That can facilitate bonding among parents and children. So attending school conferences is one way of talking about these things. We attend school conferences. How many of us attend school conferences? I made it a mandate, a policy in our family that me and my son's father, we must attend all the school conferences, but at least me. And I did, because there we get to talk about things. We get to talk about ways in which we can talk about these children. Parents, Teachers Association meetings. How many of us are attending those things? We got to attend. We got to get involved in their school activities. What are the games? What are they playing? How are they doing? We get to be there, right there on ground. Like Esther says, we know that we have to make money to raise them. What if you make that money and that child gets ruined? What are you going to do with that money? The love is by educating these children well, and education is, there is no end to education. The moment you raise your child well, they can go to school at any time, at any age in their life. But the first thing is to lay that foundation of sex education, because this is what is ruining the world. If you read into history, Helen of Troy was ruined by sex education, because she didn't get it well from the family, and the person that slept with her did not get it well. And look at what happened. Killings upon killings came around just because two people who did not understand proper sex education, who did not know that you don't have to mess around with somebody's husband, you don't have to mess around with somebody's wife. Now they got into trouble and a lot of people were killed, if you go back into history. So it is that important, very, very important. Who wants to say something,
Dr.
please?
Vaughn, can I add something, please?
Sure.
I just want what you had said about well, it's very important too. I lost my train of thought. But anyway, I just wanted to say how important it is that people are not ashamed of, and they understand the education is everything, because when you have education, you have knowledge, you have power, you understand how your body works, the functions of your body, and then you can make a wise decision, because we do not want them to be brought up like us, that, it's taboo to talk about and be ashamed of their bodies. That's very important, to not be ashamed of who you are and your sexual orientation, but understanding to be old enough to make the wise decisions in order to go ahead and have the correct knowledge of being safe and, not going into a situation where they're going to get pregnant and run into that kind of situation. Because it was me. So you're talking about me. So I know all about what you're talking about right now. And it's simply because we were not guided and we were not shown anything. We learned, like John said, from our friends who was around us, and that's just the way it was. And it was taboo to talk about. So yeah, education is power, knowledge is power. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
You see an example there, and she said it without any shame, because there is nothing to be ashamed of in this life. Everything that comes from human beings, nothing is supposed to be ashamed. I learned it from
but
other
in the
people.
beginning, there was shame, Dr. Yvonne, because that's how your family makes you feel, because you're 17 years old. So there's a lot of shame, and there shouldn't. I was, when I got pregnant at 17, I was so scared and crying that I didn't even go home. I didn't know what to do, because I was afraid. I was afraid of what they were going to say. And I mean, I didn't even know I was pregnant till I was 24 weeks, 5 months pregnant. I was rushed to emergency, stopped breathing. So anyway, there's certain things that, like you said, that are so important, and just not to be ashamed, but to educate them. And the age is depending on the child. So thank you.
Certainly. Yes, the shame is always there. But now that we know, I'm trying to inspire the children not to be ashamed, but we have to make them not to be. By the way we talk, we communicate, we educate. Otherwise, they're still going to be ashamed to talk about. Exactly. Like my son, you would say, my son would be like, "Grandma, there's nothing wrong about that. It's okay to talk about it." But that now is a normacy for him, and that's what we need to do. But it comes from us. The kind of energy we put into it, the positivity we put into it, the importance we put into it, will make those children to normalize it and be able to talk about it. Not going to hide to sleep with a girl, or a girl going to hide to sleep with a boy.
If I would have had the education, I may not have made that bad choice, right? It's not knowing that leads you down the dark path.
Yes. So. Yeah, the education, like my mother, she got married at 15 and had me at 17. If they had properly educated her, she would not have been there. She would have been dead, gone. But thank God that she's here. Now they are treating her for obstetric fistula, which no child should be made to go through. And so it's a lot of things. And then sexual abuse is what is going on all around the world. We have to have this education. We are here. We are the ambassadors of children. We are the caretakers of children. We love children. That's why we are here attending One Global Movement. we need to take it very serious. And we all have different endeavors. I know that all of us here do. Esther, Corrina, John, Dr. Benny, Ava, Yvonne, Finn, everybody here does. That's why we are here. So we have to be the global ambassadors to try to make sure that we help our children, and then start taking statistics from when we start helping, and then making sure how these children are following their records and their tracks in the world, to make sure that they are putting the education into place within themselves and their families. This is so important because I've seen a lot of things that are going on. One thing that I forgot to mention is, look at, if we don't talk about sex education, we don't teach our children. A lot of these young girls, they don't even know what menstruation is. I did not know. I started crying. I said, Papa, Daddy, there is blood. I was opening my vagina and showing it to my dad. I said, blood is coming. I must have sat on something. I did not know. So it is that important that we teach them, because a lot of them just start having their period without even knowing what it is, you know? So it is very important. Then preventing sexual abuse. Children who receive sex education are more likely to recognize and report instances of sexual abuse. Yes, even when the abuser would threaten them, if you open your mouth, I will kill your family. You see, they will say it. They will say it if we properly educate them. And then long-term health. Understanding sexual health at a very young age can have long-term benefits. Their health will be preserved instead of dying and contacting obstetric fistula, like those young girls in Sudan. Those young girls, even right here in the United States, some of them don't get it yet. And so we are now fortunate and in a position where when that rain starts falling so much on us from unpassive, what can we not do? We can do everything. There'll be no excuse for us to give for not doing it, because that is the essence for which Mr. Ashman Farrer brought his vision to all of us. Those apples, we got to share them around the world, not hoarding. Because when we hoard it, we put it here, we're not letting go. Guess what? We're going to die. And those apples will stay wasted for no reason. So it is so important that we do that. And if you guys don't have any more questions.
I do. I have
Okay.
something.
Okay.
Yes. Now, I need to talk to all the parents. Now, some of them, they said, it is better for them to teach their own children. Well, a little bit. But despite the fact that some of the parents, they do have the experience, as you know that most of our parents in Africa or all over the globe, they say that it is a taboo. Now, if you say it's a taboo, when your daughter gets pregnant and she is afraid to go home, guess what? She will try to take medicine to see if she can abort that child. And in the long run, she dies. Yes. Yes. So that is why I am saying that it is very important for us to educate our boys and girls. So I am talking to, I just want the parents, wherever they are, all over the globe, you guys listen to me today. Don't play with your children. Do not play with your daughters. If there is any problem, come to me. I know that I'm speaking with authority, but our children are the future. They are our generation, because we will soon leave the world. So I need you guys to please educate your girls. And since these women in Africa, God help me, because they are not educated, they don't know the importance of sex education. That is why in their mind, their mindset, they said, oh, don't talk about it. Are you kidding me? Do you know that at 10 years old, girls, they get pregnant? Do you guys know that?
Yep.
And then they ruin their life. I want to stop here because we don't have that much time. But
okay, thank you so much. That is so true. Even like here, even though they legalize abortion here, it is the same thing. Some children here, they get pregnant very young. What do? Because abortion is legalized, guess what? They have the right to choose to abort that child or not. They go and cause abortion. So it goes from different levels and from different societies. you know? So the thing is, both boys and girls, because when we educate these people, our children equally, guess what? The boy will even learn to tell the girl no. No, because I have to be able to do it at the right time. I don't want you to get in trouble, and I don't want to get in trouble with my own self too. Not in trouble because of the yelling from the parents, in trouble because I want to educate myself. I want to go to school first. I want to learn a trade. I want to empower myself educationally, financially, and economically powerful so that when that time comes, I already understand. Now I can start making a family. I can sleep with you. Now we know that we are making a mutual decision to be together, to build a relationship. Anybody wants to say something?
Yes, can I say something, please?
Yes.
Yeah, it is very important actually for especially mothers to educate their children and to know who, like Esther had said, to know who they're keeping their, especially a girl child with, because I've seen it happening in one or two cases that the grandparent, the grandfather, has made a child pregnant. I mean, we have to be a little bit more careful and not just blindly because they are relatives to trust them with our eyes closed and say, oh no, nothing could happen. No, plenty could happen, and we need to be very, very careful about this, especially mothers. I
Yes.
know the boys are also affected a lot, and I'm a mother of four, so I've always had to keep a very strong eye on my children, all four of them. I've got two boys and two girls, but we need to be careful of our children because our children are the next generation.
Thank you so
So
much, Ava. That is so important. You recalling my mind to my uncle who slept with the daughter and had a baby with the daughter.
yes,
They had to do a lot of uh, uh, family discussions and all other things. It's a whole headache. Incest, a lot of things. But we are here. We just keep doing what we are doing, and together we can literally change this, beginning from the younger generation. Now that we know, we ourselves, we're going to be digging into books and research and do things that will continue to really erase that mentality from us, that we cannot talk about this. Sex education is important. Can we highlight the comments, please? Or if anybody has anything as we are reading the comments and going, you can still say it. This is a roundtable
Yeah,
discussion.
I have some. I can look in the chat here. I have some comments I can read in the chat.
Okay.
Okay. We have Yvonne Finn has made some very good comments and contributing to today's discussion. She says sex education should teach responsibility and consequences. It is not something to be shameful about, just well-defined knowledge so informed choices can be made. And so then she said more to say as I look down here. Doggone it, why do I always do that? Okay, now we have, I see Birgit Jorgensen has contributed something. Having sex is a big responsibility. It can lead to pregnancy. I am of the old school. Wait for Mr. Right. When sex is in a marriage, it is protected. God made it like that. Well, of course, that could actually open up a discussion in itself. There's a lot being
Yes.
said. There's a lot you can talk about just with that one comment right there. Okay, now we have, let's see, Dr. Benny. Dr. Benny contributing all the way through here. She says hello to everybody and makes little comments. Let's see now. Amen and amen, Dr. Mundih. This is Yvonne again, Yvonne Finn. Amen and amen, Dr. Mundih. Child rearing must remain our primary responsibility when we become parents. Again, all this, everything we hear here, everything we see here, it all goes back to, are we ready? Are the parents ready? Or are we ready to be parents when we're younger? So that's something to think about. Now let me look again. We got some more here. Let me just look. Let's see. To educated young people, he means to educate. James Rafiki says, to educate young people is to create a blessed new generation. There's a little bit of a positive statement that he's making there. Okay, let me just look really quickly down here now. It is a wise thing, says Bergeth again. It is a wise thing to do before you become girlfriend and boyfriend. Get to know each other first. Be friends. There's something very important too. Let me make one more quick scroll down here. Not part of life, Dr. Mundih, Yvonne Finn again. It brings life. It should be treated with sacred respect and responsibility. It deserves our highest regard. Okay, now let's see. Let's all feel free. This is Esther. Esther, one of our panelists. Esther says, let us all feel free to talk to our children about this topic. It will definitely help them in life. Thank you for your authentic sharing, Corrina. Yvonne's thanking Corrina for her honest and tremendous share that she gave us today, a little bit about herself. Let's see. Let me just scroll down a little bit. Ann McLemore, just as important, we need to work with the victims of rape and incest to help them realize that it was not their fault, as the abusers threatened their victims and placed the blame on the abused. There's a very good statement that she's made there. That's about it I have for in the chat. If anybody, if that stimulates any thoughts to anyone, or if anybody's got anything else to say, that's all I have in the chat for today.
Go ahead, guys. It's all of us talking, not just one person. Who wants to say something? Go ahead.
I just wanted to add one more thing over here.
Okay.
I said, when you communicate with your children, you become their friend, and they learn to trust you, and they confide in you, whatever the position or whatever they are going through. Because if they do not learn how to confide in you, they will not be able to come and tell you what's going on in their life. So there are many a times that many of these children are going through hell, but they cannot come and tell because they wonder how we're going to say, what we're going to do. So the best thing is for us as parents to be friends with them. That's when they communicate with you and they tell you that, okay, Mom, I'm going through this. That's, I think we need to be aware of that as well.
Thank you so much, Ava. That is so important.
I agree.
Being friends with our children is so important. But they also, we have that little boundary that knows that I am the mom here, I am the father here. But being friends with our children, let's not raise our children with a heavy hand and a heavy heart, like thinking, I am your mom. Whatever I say, you've got to do it. Even if I am not doing it, you have to do it. Telling the truth along here. Children are very smart. We were smart too. They are very smart, but because some of us were bitten not to say things about sex or things like that, we shut up, but it is still there in us. So we have to tell the truth in a very honest, happy, loving, kind way. And then these kids will draw closer to us. But if we start hiding things, they see us hiding things, they too are going to start hiding things. And we wonder in the long run, why is this child behaving like this? I didn't raise you like that. Yes, of course, we raised them like that. That's why they are behaving like mother, like child, like father, like child. These children are born good until we begin to instill those negative things and badness in them. They are born good children. Of course, we're going to make mistakes in life, because all of us do, because we are humans and we do it right now as adults. But those are mistakes that can easily be corrected. And you do something wrong to your child, you got to apologize. It doesn't matter whether you are the parent or not. You've got to apologize. They are watching you. They are watching us. Whatever we say, how we move, who we are communicating with, they know they are watching. We better do the right thing and make sure that we are bonding with them in love. We take the example of these two children that were put, one was fed a lot of food, giving a lot of food. The other one was given a lot of love. Then they were watching, it's an experiment, true life experiment. They were watching to see which child will grow well. The child that was nurtured well, teaching them sex education, teaching them everything that they needed in life, that child grew up well and happy. The one that was giving a lot of food, thinking that that is love, that child never grew up because they never taught that child anything. These are all life lessons, but we know that sometimes we can be stubborn. Even right here in Unpassive, we don't take it well. We don't take the time to bond with one another well, the way Mr. Ashford brought it to us. Some of us are chameleons. Some of us will lie. Some of us, it's about me, me, me. If it's not my way, it cannot be done. They brought this vision to us. We did not pay money for it. Why can't we just treat one another with love and respect? What you are thinking that is me, 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 I have to be first. I have to succeed before the other person succeed. When time comes, it will be crashing down. That's the rule of nature. We cannot just deny it. So we need to nurture one another. This hand has to wash this one. Like my grandmother said, one hand cannot tie a bundle. You have to be able to bring these two hands together to tie that bundle, to stand. We have to come together to educate ourselves and our children. We have to come together to be able to say, John Barilla knows whether he likes it or not, I'm going to bother him because he carries the characteristics of my Uncle John, everything, 90% plus. And Ava, I don't care, I'm the nosy one. Corrina, I say whatever. Correct me and I will accept it, but we need to come together to grow. What we see in Unpassive is deplorable. Is deplorable. And we say things, we don't do them. We're trying to get ahead of time. We're trying to get to this position so they can see me. Your position was given to you when you were born. The same thing too with our children. We got to do that. We got to do it. I am an open book. I believe if I do something wrong, say, Yvonne, hey, no, you can even yell at me. I will take it because I am not immune to mistakes. But what we are doing to our children, we are investing in ourselves. It's not just those children. What we are doing to our fellow Unpassivian, we are investing in ourselves. It goes the same. What we are doing to that person, that's exactly what we have, and that's what we are giving our family. So let's do good for the sake of benevolence. Benevolence. We were born to do that. We're going to make mistakes. Let's learn. Those mistakes, it's not like it's a threat or a bad thing. That is a curve to learn and grow, as we are learning here today, here in One Global Movement about sex education. I don't know it all. You don't know it all. Nobody's an island upon themselves. Teach me so that I can teach my son or my 10 children. So I teach you so you can also teach your community. Let's do this together, please. Let's take the advantage of Mr. Ashmufara. Let us not ruin the vision that he brought to us. I'm saying that because we are now a global family. A lot is going on. Let us put our hands together for one another. Let us put our hands together for Mr. Mufare. Let us put our hands together. I'm almost crying because I want this thing to happen so bad because I have a lot to teach my village, to teach my community, to teach the world. Let us put our hands together because a lot is going on wrong with our children. They go to school, they're having problems, and they term them bad children. They're medicating them. They're doing things, and those children, that medication is affecting them. When we did not take that responsibility to do it, let us do it. Children are suffering. They call me a lot of times, even in the village where I was born, even in other places that I don't even know. Because of my travel to these places, the children are calling. They're calling me, Mommy, what can I do? What can I do? We all are here. Let's put in us that love that we can come together to educate these children. Let us not leave this world and die with the knowledge that God has given us without really educating these children. And us, nobody knows it. I don't know. I might have a PhD. That PhD doesn't mean that I know. No. Some people who, with the experience without a PhD, they know better than I do. And we should humble ourselves to learn from one another. To learn from one another and love one another. I have mistakes. You do too. So there is really no need to say, hey, that person is bad. Oh, look here. Oh, that person. Oh, this. We are not here in competition. I have one account. The person that has 1,000 is still the same like me. I believe so, because I can still be a billionaire with my one account. So let's stop that thing that we are doing here in Unpassive. We are making it, it's a shameful thing for Mr. Ash Mufara. He just keeps quiet because he's not that kind of a person that talks. But we trying to ruin that vision. We really, really put a stop. And we have children among us, young entrepreneurs, they are watching us. They're watching us. So, okay. That's it.
Yvonne, thank you so much. Thank you so much for everybody's feeling your heart. Yeah, even though we are not talking, but I don't know, I am so emotional right now. It's so unfortunate that we are addressing this topic and it seems as if we are only talking. I wish we can quickly get into action, to get things done, to make the world right, to make our young girls, young boys know the right ways to go. Please, I plead the conscience of everyone gathered here today to please, anything you can do within your little world to start getting this corrected, help us to do it before we're able to see that which we are waiting for to carry out our action plans. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for caring. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Esther. And thank you guys so much. Thank you. I'm coming, Dr. Benny. We will say everything because this is so important. If we do not empty out ourselves, we will be buried. The richest place on earth is the cemetery. A lot of people are there. They were buried with the talents that they had. They did not share it. We are here. We are still alive. Let us empty out ourselves into the world, into our children, because here, this is one global movement. It's about children. How many people? We are 1.4 million founders. How many are here? I know that people have circumstances, situations, the time zone too, but this is what we ought to be doing for our children. And if any of us here have any initiative that they are doing, let us all know. And I also urge you guys to put your YouTube links there or your website links, YouTube, so that people can begin to go on your YouTube too. Put it here. It doesn't have to be one global movement. One global movement is not about Mundih. It's about our children. It's about families. It's about all of us. Put your links in the YouTube. If somebody cannot subscribe to my own or comment or share, they will do your own. Put it there. We all deserve this. We all need to nurture and help one another. Put it there so that people can begin to subscribe. This is how we're supposed to build ourselves up. This is how Mr. Ash Mufara meant it to be. Okay. Somebody wanted to say something, Dr. Benny.
Yes. First of all, I want to really thank each and everyone. This topic is very important. And again, for our children. Now, Dr. Mundih, you made a statement that we should all work together. Well, this togetherness, our CEO stated from the beginning, and being a leader like him, he knows what to do. But what I have noticed is that he is the only one that can do it. The rest of us, we are not working together at all. And so I was just trying to find out how, Dr. Mundih, how do you think we can really work together? Before that, I want to thank you for giving us this opportunity that we can at least share our YouTube. And I do understand that when we go somewhere else and we share this opportunity, there is a problem. You don't want to be the only one to have 10,000 subscribers, whatever it is. So are you going to eat it? I'm talking to each and everyone. We're supposed to work together, but I don't see that. And I pray that one day. Now, remember that charity begins at home, Dr. Mundih. Mm-hmm. Charity begins at home. So if we cannot work together, how do you think the children can work together? How? So I urge each, except People who don't want to work together is because they don't have children. Do you understand me? People who don't want to work together, maybe they don't have kids. But if you have children, charity begins at home. Being a leader, you need to show proof that you are a leader. A leader does not discriminate. A leader, when there is a problem between two, let me just say two employees or children, you need to listen to both sides. Don't cite only one person, somebody that you like. I am talking to everyone all over the globe. If you are working somewhere at your job site or in this environment, and there is a problem between two employees, and you are a leader, you need to sit down and listen on both. Do not cite one person because of the color. Do you guys understand me? I am talking to each and everyone all over the globe, and I speak with authority because of what I have seen in my 30-something years working in the environment of cybersecurity or education. So we need to work together. Humanity is the key within our community, within, should I say it, within unpassive, right? But how? If you are citing only one person and you claim that you're up there, remember you talk about cemetery? All of us will go down there. There is no difference between you and I, or let's just give an example. Please forgive me. There is no difference between colors. You and I will go down there. So why can't we just work together? Because our Father is watching you and I. One day, God will say, why were you discriminating? I created all of you guys in our image. I need you guys to take care of yourself and your children. Being a leader, you want to lead your children so that your children will grow. You know that they'll say, oh, I want to be like my mommy. I want to be like my daddy. How? If you are discriminating, those children will discriminate as well. Got it?
Thank you so much.
Let me be quiet.
Thank you so much. I so love this topic. This is what we're going to be talking from time to time until we start, our children start getting it, because we are teaching them. Discrimination in sex, in our sexual orientation, discrimination in our genders. It is all involved in this thing. And thank you so much, Dr. Benny. But working together begins with us ourselves. How well do you work with your own self? How well do you take something that somebody says so personal that you want to throw the stones back to that person? Are you going to just keep quiet, seal your mouth, and go ahead and do the right thing? We see a lot of this thing in unpassive. Mr. Ash, my father sees everything. He's a very smart man, but he's a kind of a man that is so calm and quiet. We have children that are watching us. And this person, don't go to this person. Don't be friends with this person. This person is this. We are wasting time. For me, because I've been given life, I have no time to focus on anything that is short of helping children, because I was given life in the place where others lost their lives. I was the only one left. Why? Why did I just why only me? Because God has commissioned me to work to serve the children of the world and serving it well. I have scars all over my body. These scars have raised me into a star for the sake of humanity, focusing on the children. We all are here. Let us work together. Put every time that you come here to One Global Movement, because that's one of the purpose of One Global Movement, is to elevate, to speak about your endeavors in the world, because you're going to hear my mouth will be running your name on the stages of the world about what you're doing. I'll be like, oh, she's calling my name in the world because you're doing something good. I'm going to talk about it. So put every time you come to One Global Movement, put whatever link you want to put there, and it is our responsibility to go and subscribe to those links. Go to your website. I don't have a website yet. Somebody might have to help me build that up. So go there and we support one another. Someday we're going to do it like meticulously. Now today is Esther. The next show is Corrina. The next show is John Barilla, Ava. We make sure, and then we go and see, because action and accountability is what I'm all about. One Global Movement. We see These people that attended this show, did they go to subscribe? That's what we should be doing. Because there will be no need for you getting, like Dr. Benny said, getting 10, 15, 20,000. And you're like, hey, my YouTube channel is working. What about the other person? And you say you're uplifting humanity? Baloney. Let's do the right thing. Okay. Okay. Thank you guys so much. Mr. John Barilla, if you have something, you say it. He's the managing director of One Global Movement, and I chose him for personal reasons. And so if you want to say something, the last statement, and I give my closing remarks, and we are all done for the day. Thank you guys so much. Is he gone? If you want to say something, the last statement, and I give my closing remarks, and we are all done for the day. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I don't really have much to say. This has been very, very interesting, very rewarding, and very important what we're talking about today for sure. And I know that a lot of folks are paying attention, because you can tell in the chat whenever we have like definite response and people contribute, that's always a good thing. So I would just say I want to encourage that. I want to encourage all of the folks that are here with us today to please continue to come, not only to our daily. Yvonne has her daily. It's about half an hour. And I think we're going to start that at 1 now. I think we're changing the time to 1, are we?
Yes,
Is that right? Yeah. So we're going to start that Monday through Thursdays at 1 p.m. And it's a short thing. It's very good, and whatever the topic is. And Yvonne concisely talks about whatever the particular thing is for that day. Very, very well done. And I just want to tell everybody, we really appreciate those that are coming. Global Movement, and we want you to keep coming. And like we have these Fridays, for example, and that's a chance where some of you maybe even end up here on the panel with us if you got something to say. Of course, we love that people do say things in the chat, so we want you to continue doing that. Come here, contribute to whatever our topic is, and bring somebody with you. Spread the word about One Global Movement, because we're going somewhere beyond this, and we're just right now we're talking, we're getting ideas, we're helping to educate each other. But obviously, movement is not going away. You know, as we move forward, we actually want to do something. Isn't that right, Yvonne? We actually want to get out there and yes, make an impact with the young people we're talking about, educating young girls and young boys. But we're emphasizing the young girls, and we really want to do something out there. And so, please, folks, keep coming and get involved, and even end up here on the panel with your ideas. Maybe we want more folks to come up here and talk with us. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And we're going to be going in between O Connect now from next week, O Connect and StreamYard, because we want to start learning the O Connect. I don't know how to create it very well yet. Maybe Ava will teach me or somebody, but Dr. Benny, we're going to be going back and forth. The reason is that we are not able to retrieve the full version of every show to put it in YouTube, because these folks around the world, a lot of them don't have a good internet. So some of them will climb and go on top of hills to go and watch those things from YouTube. And if they don't find it, they start calling me, they start writing to me. So we're going to be going between O Connect and StreamYard until we can fully retrieve the recordings from O Connect and post it. I just want to really thank you guys so much. I love you. You don't know what this means to me. It means a lot to me, especially considering my background. And I know that I'm just a symbol of all of you, of all the children out there. I so much thank you. My gratitude goes to Mr. Ash Mufaro for bringing us together. If not of him, I would not know you guys. So we are now family. I love you guys. Feel free. Suggest a topic that pertains to youth in your area. Any topic, suggest it. I'm not the only one coming with topics. We have to throw this thing open to everybody to be able to contribute. Suggest something, whether I'm talking Monday through Thursday or it's every other Friday. And a lot of people are coming. John said it. We are getting out there. There are programs that I'm working on that we're going to start getting out there, making that impact, making sure that they are seeing what we are doing, getting dirty, getting into the mud and doing it. You're going to see me carrying a basket of something on my head because that's the way I grew up from the farm. So a lot of good things are coming. Our young people, our children are in good hands because of you guys and me, Mr. Ash Mufara, and the creator of the universe. Thank you guys so much. And I will give my closing remarks if there's nothing else. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay, thank you guys so much. I will see you again tomorrow. If you have time, stop by Monday through Thursday. And I want to let our children out there to always remember to stay focused, stay encouraged, stay empowered, and always believe in endless possibilities. Thank you guys so much. And I love you all. Bye-bye.
All righty.
Thanks, Yvonne. Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Love
Bye.
you. Have a good day.
Yeah.
We are so in it to win it.
Bye now.
Yes.
We are.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
In
Bye.
it